Hello, Zimbabwe. Welcome to LiveTalk. And we are coming to you live from Studio 7 at the Voice of America in Washington. And I am your host, Evans Zininga. And today on LiveTalk, we are discussing the future and life after the US elections as the nation gears for a new government for the next 4 years. Donald Trump's agenda calls for him to deliver on key campaign talking points: border security, strengthening the economy, and putting America first. While his promises are bold, details on how they'll be carried out are few. Tina Train reports.
It is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
As it became evident on election night that Donald Trump would once again become U.S. president, he gave a victory speech in which he reiterated his agenda for the next 4 years. Border security remains a top priority. Trump has said that he will launch the largest deportation program of criminals in American history and has called for the death penalty for any migrant who kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. The tough talk was less evident on election night.
We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally.
Vice President-elect J.D. Vance touched on another key agenda item.
And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history.
We're going to be paying down debt. We're going to be reducing taxes.
It's less clear how the new administration will accomplish its economic goals without adding to an already growing deficit. But Trump's speech mentioned a person who might help: tech mogul Elon Musk, who Trump has said would lead a government efficiency commission to reduce fiscal waste and fraud. Trump commented on Musk's recent Starship rocket launch.
And it was a beautiful thing to see, and I called Elon. I said, "Elon, was that you?" He said, "Yes, it was." I said, "Who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No. Nobody can do that." I said, "That's why I love you, Elon."
Experts say Trump's praise of Musk is about projecting strength and might on the global stage.
This idea about, are we the only country that can do this? Oh, yes, we're the only country that can do this. And I think Trump is able to use this image of Musk as not only a tech entrepreneur, but a visionary, a genius, to support this idea that he's moving forward, not as an individual, but as a nation.
In his speech, Trump told supporters what his guiding principle would be in office.
I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
One of those promises would be what he calls the coming golden age of America. Tina Trin, VOA News, New York.
Talking about elections and changing governments in Africa, SADC regional leaders, including President Emerson Mnangagwa and other heads of state and government, were in Gaborone in Botswana today for the inauguration of Botswana's newly elected president, Duma Boko, the first opposition leader to win an election in the country's 58-year-old history. Among those invited was former Citizens Coalition for Change leader Nelson Chamisa, Job Sikala of the National Democratic Working Group, and economic freedom fighters Julius Malema, who was barred in 2014 by then-President Ian Khama's administration from visiting Botswana. Several other opponents of SADC governments also attended the event. Boko was the center of attraction as he took over the reins of power from defeated former President Mokgweetsi Masisi of the Botswana Democratic Party.
I will maintain the Constitution of Botswana and uphold the laws, and that I will direct my abilities to the service and welfare of the people of Botswana without fear or favor, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Man of the moment in Botswana there, Botswana's new elected president taking the oath of office today in Gaborone. Former CCC legislator Sikala had this to say about the inauguration.
This is a momentous occasion for President Duma Boko. And what we have also liked about him is that he is different from other leaders who, after winning power, will forget the democratic forces in the region who also are in the struggle which they have gone through. So his invitation of ourselves is a major recognition that even if we win power, we should remember those people who are also in other countries who are engaging in the same battle which he won here in Botswana. So for that, I really honor him. And we are here to really give him our maximum support and wish him the best for Botswana and for the future of this country. Thank you.
That was Job Sikala there, former CCC legislator and current chairperson and chief facilitator of the National Democratic Working Group. Nelson Chamisa was happy about Boko's rise to power in Botswana.
What an important day for SADC, for Africa. This is a good thing, a new order, new Africa. You can see democracies on the move in the region, on the continent. We're excited. New faces, a new generation. Democracy is taking its roots. And we are so happy that outwardly the shame is being taken away from our region. And we are making significant strides. That's why we are here. We're excited. Congratulations, Africa. Congratulations, SADC. Thank you.
What can Zimbabwe learn from this?
Oh, yes. A proper election, a free election is important. It keeps the nation stable, prosperous, and peace then becomes rooted. If we are not doing free and fair elections, we cause instability. Look at Mozambique. We need free and fair elections.
Studio 7 capturing their former opposition CCC President Nelson Chamisa in Gaborone today. And ZANU-PF's communications director Farai Marapira had this to say about Zimbabweans' remarks at the Botswana event.
We are very respectful of the process that has occurred in Botswana. The Botswana people made their decision, and all political parties involved made their choice. From this, would like the local opposition in Zimbabwe to take a page and take a lesson and understand that democracy is not the fulfillment of your goal or your vision. Democracy is the fulfillment of the people's decision and the people's goal. We hope that as they were being members and participants in this, they also got to learn that there is nothing wrong with being magnanimous even in defeat. And this toxic thing of always trying to deny every defeat does not cut it. Other countries have shown a more mature democracy, have shown a more mature respect for the will of the people, and we urge people in the ilk of Nelson Chamisa and those like him to respect the will of the people and to learn and appreciate that it is the will of the people that is sacrosanct, not their individual whims and their individual fancies. So we hope that as we approach 2028, we've got a wiser opposition that will be ready to accept the impending defeat that shall surely come their way. Thank you.
That was ZANU-PF's communications director Farai Marapira speaking to Studio 7 from Harare. And now we will have a quick analysis on this, and we will bring in political analyst and lecturer at Tshwane University of Technology in South Africa, Professor Ricky Mukonza, for his perspective. Prof, can you hear me?
Good evening, Mr. Zninga. Good evening to your listeners.
What a great day in Africa today. Botswana setting the pace for a smooth transition of power there. Presidents changing hands in peace. What's your take on what happened today?
Indeed, it's a great day for Africa. It's a great day for SADC. It's a great day for Botswana. A seamless and smooth transition from a former liberation movement to what has always been considered as an opposition political party. It's not commonplace. It's not something that we have, come accustomed to in Africa. Either you have manipulation of the election outcome, or you have violence accompanying such an outcome. But credit must go to the outgoing or the former president of Botswana, Mokgweetsi Masisi, for accepting defeat and allowing this smooth transition. I think a lot of us get carried away in acknowledging that Duma Boko has won, but I think the role of Mokgweetsi Masisi must be amplified, because that's where the major problem is, Mr. Zininga. Those that are in power normally don't want to go out of power without causing drama, and Mokgweetsi Masisi must be given credit in this regard.
Now, let me bring you back to history. We remember the president who left before Masisi said he made a huge mistake by appointing Masisi, by handpicking Masisi to be the next president when he served his last term. Now, what do you think this is telling us as in general? Masisi is gone now. There is a new president. 2 million people in Botswana. What's the future holding for them?
I think, you see, politics by their very nature are not predictable, and we maybe former President Kama could have been right in his judgment. We don't know. They had their problems with Masisi, but the point that I made earlier on tells me that probably Masisi could, well, with all his mistakes, I think he demonstrated that he understands that politics is about, contesting for power, and when you have lost, you accept and you allow the winner to take over. Something that we have not seen, happening in other African countries. So that's where I want to give Masisi credit and say, I think we wish we had more, presidents like him who can simply understand that when you get into power and you contest and you don't win, accept and allow the will of the people to take precedence.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, on this issue, Prof, we hear Mozambique is in turmoil right now. There are protests, people are being killed on the streets. It's a mess after the election. And the ruling party sticks to its guns. They won. Opposition is fighting back. They're not accepting it. Do you see other African countries in any way living up to the standard that's been set by Botswana today?
I don't see that. That's why I had to make a special mention of the transition that is taking place in Botswana, because you juxtapose that with what's happening in Mozambique. I think just to be fair, of course there is a contest. The ruling party says they've won. We're talking of Frelimo here, and the opposition are saying no, there was manipulation of electoral outcomes, and that contest does not bode well for the formation of a government that can take Mozambique forward, and that is not unique to Mozambique. I think you go back to what happened to Zimbabwe. you find a contested electoral outcome in 2023 between the former leader of Triple C, Nelson Chamisa, and the current president, Emerson Mnangagwa. And if you look at what has happened going forward, you realize that, yes, we do have a government in Zimbabwe, but that government is on a shaky ground. It's not a government that all have confidence in, whether you're talking about internal stakeholders, the people of Zimbabwe, or people from outside. So what Botswana has done is it need to be celebrated in the sense that whether you're talking of those that have lost elections or those that have, there is consensus that the government that is there is the government that the people of Botswana have chosen. And I think that needs to be commended and to be celebrated.
Thank you very much for your views on this, Professor Mukonza. That was Prof. Mukonza there in South Africa. We will take a short break on this note. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
And now back to our topic of the day, life after the U.S. presidential elections. And to discuss this, we are joined by an unapologetic Republican Party supporter based in Texas, Mr. Innocent Ndenda. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ndenda.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
I was hoping to bring a Democratic supporter, Mr. Denmoy. Unfortunately, we're trying to reach him. We can't get him today. However, the show goes on, and we will have inserts of a comment from another Democratic Party supporter. Let me start by saying to you, Mr. Ndenda, we saw the president-elect Donald Trump speak for White House Chief of Staff. And I would like you to chime in here and say, with the history we've followed of her, is this what you would say was the best pick for this position? Let's start from there.
Oh, it's obvious. If people vote for you, it means they really like you for the position. He was duly elected, and now he has got the mandate from the people. And like he said, he's trying to unite everyone, then work for America and put America first. So I think that's what made people vote for him, because his first thing you look at is America and how the American people can live, and the economy as well as the immigration. He talks about fixing the immigration that hasn't been fixed by the Democrats for 4 years. So I guess he's going to do a lot.
There you just dropped the perfect word, a lot. A lot of promises were made during the campaigns. A lot of things were said. And there are a lot of expectations and anticipations from the large nation of the U.S. Now, do you think all the promises that were made during the campaigns is going to happen during the next 4 years?
Oh, certainly. We can, some of them, but he's got the House and the Senate, so he just needs to work with everybody. That's the good thing about America. and also him as a leader, because I hear some of the people talking like he is a dictator and all that. It doesn't work like that in America. There are checks and balances. So since there is a Senate, he just needs to work with everybody so that his policies can be implemented as well.
And then let's look at policies. What shifts do you think people are going to see? Let's say particularly on the Ukraine-Russia war going on. Let's bring in the Israel-Hamas war in general. Do you see a whole lot of policy changes on this happening now?
Yeah, because I think, like he said before, even on his campaign, he believes in negotiations. He doesn't believe in the wars. So, and they are also willing. We saw that the Ukrainian president also congratulated President Trump, and he is willing to sit on the table, which is a good thing because we want peace in the world. Same applies to Netanyahu. He went to visit President Trump before he was elected. So I think he can do some negotiations and peace deals, which is a good thing, rather than fighting the wars.
Let me put you on a brief hold there, Mr. Ndenda. Even though we couldn't get our Democratic brother to come and join us, we managed to speak to another Democratic member earlier before we came on this show, and we captured what she said. She gave a comment on her feeling about this whole new government coming in and the expectations for the nation from the new government. We're gonna play the audio of what she said earlier. Pay attention to it. I would like you to respond after this.
I woke up in the same country I went to bed in, which is the United States of America, which is a country that was built on racism, right, and genocide of indigenous people, a country that has thrived on the backs of Black people's enslavement. So the election results are not a surprise to me. I am, however, determined to keep having conversations with people from the other side so we can reach a better understanding of them knowing that whiteness itself is erasure for them. They mostly think that the dominance of Black people or our majority in numbers diminishes their whiteness, but actually whiteness itself is a concept that, like race, is not true, is not fact. They are, before they were white, they were Irish Europeans, British Europeans, right? They were Italian Europeans, they were Scandinavian, from wherever they came from. So that's the issue with this country. But yeah, we're determined to continue to work hard to redistribute wealth. Yesterday, I visited the George Floyd Memorial. It's called Memorialize the Movement of George Floyd. And I spent time with over 50 Black community builders here in Minnesota. And we were encouraging each other. I think more than ever, we're going to see a lot of Black movements, a lot of the movement work that's done for immigrants being under attack. But I think the best way is not to react to that. The best way is to continue to build movements and prepare for the next election and learn from what didn't work. You know, that's what I really believe. So.
There, that was a Democratic Party member based in Minnesota, Comfort Dondo. Comfort is also a human rights defender. Vandenda, did you hear the heavy words she is dropping in your sentiments there?
Yeah, certainly I did hear that, but I don't understand when people talk about America was built on genocide and all those kind of things. There was a huge shift and transformational, and some agreements have been done. Now we can see it's a free nation now. There is freedom of expression, freedom of everything, even for Blacks, for whoever. If you work hard, you can be somebody. We can't keep on hanging on the past. Of course, some bad things have happened, but we can't go on talking about those things. Now people have got freedom even to express their rights through a vote. So I don't buy the idea also.
You just brought in another angle that I would like to throw at you. Now, Africa as a continent, with all the 55 countries we have, there is a relationship between the USA and different countries in Africa in different ways. Do you see a positive shift on the relationships with African countries? Just to remind you, Zimbabweans have been singing praises from Zimbabwe about Donald Trump winning. Even the president himself, President Mnangagwa, sent his congratulatory messages as soon as he could to President Donald Trump. Do you see a shift in policy in terms of relations between the US and Africa?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I think like what President Trump said during the election, I think it's a wake-up call. Because he said, enough with us giving aid to Africa. They should stand alone, which is a wake-up call. Because for us also, we are too dependent. We should also have policies that align with our continent. Because we always depend on America has to give us money or has to give us aid. What are we doing? We've been given money for a long time. So I think if we can stop giving aid, it's a wake-up call. To me, I think it's even better.
Those are heavy sentiments there. Now, let's as we get to the end of the show, I would like us to look at some of the promises we mentioned some earlier. The taxes issue, the economy, federal jobs. Do you think all this is going to leave the ordinary American standing on solid ground, or people are going to be running all over the place thinking things are bad?
Oh, you talked about the economy?
Yes.
Yeah, the economy is going to be okay. Because, one thing you have to know for certain is like the president-elect, he's a businessman, and he's been president before. We saw what he did before. Those 4 years, the economy was really good, and things were down. So I think he's going to do the same for these coming 4 years again. And also, he's cutting spending in terms of wars and a lot of things. So, which means the American economy is going to be powerful again.
And there is a point there about the federal labor. Are we going to see cuts in jobs? Do you think?
No, not at all. Because when you put America first, it means that they won't be buying stuff which are finished products from other countries like China or. So it means in industry and warehouse, they'll also need people.
No, thank you very much, Mr. Ndenda, for being on the show today. We wish you all the best, and we will keep bringing you on the show going forward. It will be very interesting for us to keep following through and see where the nation heads from here. Thank you so much for joining us. And to you, our viewers and our listeners at home, thank you again, as usual, for being on the show with us. This brings us to the end of our show today. And from Washington, D.C., I am signing off. It's Evans Zeninga.